Welcome to our podcast session, diving into some pretty intense geopolitical ideas about global power shifts. We're looking at that provocative claim Washington has the delusion it still runs the show, as articulated by Jeffrey Sachs.
Yep, it's a bold statement. So we're unpacking the idea that US hegemony might be waning and the world is shifting towards a multipolar dynamic, right?
Exactly. Sachs lays out this perspective that the traditional notion of Washington controlling global affairs is unraveling.
Yeah,
It's like
totally.
he's saying, hey, the era of one superpower might be drawing to a close.
And I think what's striking is Sachs's reference to emerging players like China, India, and Russia gradually carving out their own spheres of influence.
Right? And he highlights how, even under the Trump administration, we saw this America First approach that arguably undermined long-standing alliances and
Uh-huh.
cooperative frameworks. It's not just a shift in policy, it's a fundamental shift in strategy.
Now, I'm wondering though, when we talk about the Trump era, there's this broad impact. It wasn't only about foreign policy, it also stirred up issues domestically. Things like racism, climate change, and even the culture wars started stirring more publicly.
Absolutely, and Sachs touches on several chapters. He segments the talk into parts. First, there's that new arrangement of power, then the multipolar world segment, followed by the Trump administration's policies. And later, he dives into topics like climate change and racism that complicate the US policy picture. It's a layered
Right.
analysis.
But don't you think attributing the weakening of US dominance solely to the America First policy might be a bit too simplistic? There are multiple factors at play here.
That's a fair point. What Sachs suggests is more nuanced. It's less about one policy and more about a broader delusion that Washington still thinks it calls the shots. It's like, the reality on the ground is that power is more dispersed now.
True. And speaking of dispersion, the idea of a multipolar world means that decision making, global trade, and security aren't just dominated by one entity. It's almost like that power is shared among several influential players, correct?
Exactly. Think of it like a game of chess where no single piece, no single country can unilaterally dictate all moves. Instead, you have multiple kings and queens maneuvering their own
Absolutely, yeah.
interests.
One detail I appreciate is how Sachs reinterprets the Trump administration's approach. It's not just a random deviation, but rather a clashing of ideologies between transactional relationships and long-term cooperative alliances.
Yes, and it kind of throws a wrench into the established order. The idea is that under Trump, the US leaned towards immediate transactional gains rather than investing in long term relationships. It
That's
signals a
interesting.
departure from the post World War II order.
And then there's the segment on climate change. Sachs doesn't shy away from linking climate change to these shifting power dynamics, right?
Right. He argues that climate change is another crucial factor destabilizing global order. It's a bit like saying all these global challenges, from security to environmental crises, require a level of cooperation that the current US approach might be ill equipped to deliver.
Yeah, I see that. So, would you say that Sachs sees the world moving toward a system where global challenges demand collective action rather than single handed American leadership?
Definitely. He seems to be positioning that in an interconnected world facing huge issues like climate change, no nation can go it alone. It's like solving a jigsaw puzzle where every piece must fit together.
Right on. There's also the chapter on racism. How does that play into this reordering of global power?
Yes. Sachs brings up racism as part of the internal struggles that weaken US global standing. It's not just about external factors. The divisions at home can undermine a nation's credibility on the world stage. When a country grapples openly with its bigotry and systemic issues, it sends a powerful message internationally.
That's a compelling point. For instance, the rhetoric and the policies seen domestically can ripple outwards and affect alliances and soft power globally.
Absolutely. And it adds another layer to the critique Sachs levels at Washington. It's not just the strategic missteps abroad, but also these foundational issues at home that contribute to its decline as a unipolar force.
Exactly. I'm curious though, do you think there's a risk in overstating this multipolar shift? I mean, isn't the US still maintaining a significant influence economically and militarily?
Yes, there's always that counterpoint. While Sachs points out the delusion, we have to
Yeah.
recognize that US power, by many measures, remains enormous. Its economy, its technological prowess, and its military capacity are still top tier.
Right? So it's more a shifting balance rather than a complete loss of power then?
Precisely. It's not a binary state where Washington just falls off the map, but more of a gradual recalibration. Multiple states and actors are gaining enough weight to challenge that old order.
True. And this recalibration also carries a certain irony, don't you think? I mean, a country that sees itself as the arbiter of global order might be blindsided by its own internal issues.
Exactly. It's almost like a case of hubris. The idea that Washington still runs the show is, according to Sachs, a delusion that overlooks this new reality. It's the old
Yeah,
adage
indeed.
of falling victim to arrogance.
Another fascinating detail is how Sachs discusses the repercussions of these shifts on US foreign policy. I mean, can we say that the transactional approach under Trump has led to more isolation rather than cooperation?
That's correct. Sachs links that narrow focus on immediate gains to a broader retreat from the multilateral engagements that have historically underpinned US dominance.
Yeah.
It's like rather than playing the long game, it engaged in short sprints.
And I'd add, this short sightedness might actually empower other nations to negotiate from stronger positions, now that the US is seen as less reliable for long term alliances.
Definitely, and it touches on a very modern challenge. In a world of rapidly evolving threats, be it cybersecurity, climate disasters, or even pandemics, the old model of unilateral decision making just doesn't cut it anymore.
Right, absolutely. Let's consider an analogy here. It's like trying to run a relay race with outdated equipment while others have high tech gear. You can still run, but you're not as competitive.
That's a great analogy. And similarly, while the US still has the legacy of its past glory, the playing field has changed. It's like every nation is now in a race to innovate and collaborate rather than just command.
Exactly. So, in the end, what you're saying is Washington's mindset might need to catch up with the multipolar reality. If not, their policies might end up being out of step with global necessities.
Precisely. Sachs isn't entirely dismissing US power, but is cautioning that believing in unchallenged global dominance is a dangerous
Right.
illusion. It's a call for adapting to a world where power is more spread out.
And wouldn't you say that this argument touches on timing as well? I mean, with climate change and global security concerns growing, the cost of not adapting is enormous.
Exactly. The cost of inertia could be high. It's like trying to steer a massive ship in stormy seas with outdated navigational tools.
That's spot on. I also appreciate how Sachs's discussion underlines that these shifts aren't just theoretical. They have real world implications on diplomacy, trade, and even military alliances.
Absolutely. The idea, as arranged in the video chapters, spans from new power arrangements, the explicit shift during the Trump era, and then into how emerging challenges like climate change and racism further complicate policy.
Yep, exactly. And then there's the notion of signs of change. Sachs seems to point out that even those who are used to the old order are beginning to notice cracks in the system.
Right, and those signs hint at a wider global narrative. It's like everyone is slowly realizing that the multipolar world isn't just a buzzword, it's becoming our new normal.
Yeah. I see this as a sort of wake up call for policymakers worldwide. A reminder that rigidity in thinking and clinging to outdated models can have serious consequences.
Definitely. And while it's easy to be nostalgic about the days of uncontested American leadership, the complexity of modern global challenges makes it clear that collaboration
Absolutely,
is key.
indeed. So, as we wrap up, would you say the key takeaway is that global power is no longer a zero sum game? Instead, we're looking at more distributed responsibilities and shared leadership on the world stage?
Exactly. It's a call for humility and flexibility. Washington, and any nation for that matter, needs to recognize that clinging to the delusion of absolute control is not only outdated but potentially harmful in addressing 21st century challenges.
That's a solid point. And I think, while critics may contend that the US still exerts considerable influence, Sachs reminds us of the importance of evolving with the times. The global order is a landscape in flux.
Right, and it's a dynamic conversation that challenges us to think critically about power, responsibility, and the need for collaborative problem solving.
Absolutely indeed. Well, this has been a vibrant discussion. Thank you for unpacking these ideas with me. It's fascinating to see how the narrative of power is being reshaped in real time.
My pleasure. This exploration really shows that in today's multipolar world, the interplay of domestic and international policies, coupled with global challenges, demands continuous reflection from all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next time, let's keep questioning and adapting to this ever changing global stage.